It's 1978. Jaws had changed the way people thought of the ocean already in 1975, and even to this day, people won't step foot in water because of it, including I. But with the success of Spielberg's hit shark flick, came copycats and tailcoat riders. Movies looked to recapture that magic fishy in a bottle, like the 1978 film Pirahna. And oh boy, did they capture something. Boobies. And also other stuff, I guess. The movie begins with two horny teens, let's call them Steve and Kathy. Steve and Kathy set off through the woods for some reason, and they end up finding a secret testing site. Ooh.
What is this?
Apparently, Kathy is not too bright a girl, because it's a gate. It's a chain link gate. What, you never seen a fucking gate before? Was that an eye? Was that a close-up of Steve's pet iguana's eye? Nonetheless, Steve is hesitant, but Kathy convinces him to skinny dip in the test site with a compelling argument.
Who's gonna catch us?
Hopefully not the Zodiac Killer.
What if this is some kind of a sewage treatment plant?
Oh, I don't know. It's just it could be bear shit in the water. Oh, what if I get a skin infection? Oh no, where'd Steve go? And that is why you don't swim in a pool during that time of month. You should be out in the woods with your mother, where you belong. Thus, after the credits roll, we are introduced to our main female protagonist, Maggie, who is really good at this game about sharks. She's really good at this Jaws shark ripoff.
I can manage it.
Of course you can.
It's money in the bank.
My money.
This fine specimen of a man apparently is sending Maggie, a private detective of sorts, to go find out what happened to our two lost horny teens. Meanwhile, while Maggie is on her way, we visit apparently two bearded men and a dog out in the woods. The sexual tension in the air is tense. And the man with the excellent mustache rejects Paul. So Paul decided to cook some fish. That looks pretty gross. Maggie burns her phalanges on the way, but finally makes it to Paul's cabin of loneliness and accuses him of axe murdering the missing teens.
Rogan?
I didn't axe murder your young couple. I can't help you. I haven't seen them.
Oh, good. I'm glad we cleared that up. Margaret being 2/3 literal bloodhound.
I'm 2/3 bloodhound. I told you that when you hired me.
Sniffs out the top secret, super secret, well-hidden test site and drags Paul along for the ride. What's that?
BR.
Beagle rabies. Real common problem out here in these neck of the woods. You know what that reminds me of, Maggie? Sticking my hand in radioactive testing facility water.
Man, that is cold. Well, wouldn't they be floating up on top by now?
It takes a while for the body to bloat with gas.
Oh, is that so, Margaret? Is that how you got rid of the bodies? The bodies of all the beagles that you killed in the Great Beagle Rabies War? Our protagonists venture inside to find a super scientific doodads and tropical fish.
Tropical fish?
What is this? Is this tropical fish ninja warrior? Are they teaching fish to do parkour now? That is too much. Too much. Meanwhile, they look for more clues and Maggie drinks some dude's drink that was left out. Then, the unexpected happens. Maggie and Paul stumble onto what seems to be Uncle Earl's tropical fish meth lab. And this happens. What? What? I'm sorry. Are you fucking serious? What the fuck is that? You can't just show. Is that a fish with arms? He has arms. And he just made the sound of a horny pterodactyl. While the strange horny landfish roams the lab, Paul gets thirsty while looking at Earl's pickled fish collection. Paul calls Maggie over to look at Shenron, who apparently has done a lot of Uncle Earl's meth.
Please, kill me.
Paul realizes that he left his Dragon Balls at home in the cabin, so they decide to leave.
The pain, it hurts every day. Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, come back. $5, I'll give you a Dragon Ball Lick special. Come on, man. Frustrated, Maggie looks through this bag for $5.
Wait a minute. I mean, you can't do that without getting somebody's permission.
Being a bloodhound detective, Maggie then decides to flip this lever because reasons.
Just way to know if they're down there or not.
What are you doing?
Uncle Earl then tweaks out and tries to hook them, literally. Get it? Because one of the other jokes I made was about him making meth. He's got a hook in his hand. He's trying to hook him on meth. I'm sorry. After scuffling for a bit, Paul manages to karate chop Earl's weak point, his shoulder. Super effective.
Look at this. You put a dent in it.
Could I have a sip of that, please?
Somehow, while Maggie and Paul yell at each other about canteens, Uncle Earl escapes. But Paul reveals that this testing site was a fish hatchery before the big bad military took it over.
Where does this drain to?
It was a fish hatchery before the Army took it over. Probably drains underground into the river.
After finding bones of Steve and Kathy in the now drained pool, they hear Earl making a surprise getaway with Maggie's sweet Jeep Wrangler.
Oh, shit.
Good job, Earl. Earl wakes up worried he forgot to flush the toilet.
Easy now, easy, easy.
It's your teeth.
Earl begins reliving his Nam experiences, so Paul and Maggie decide to call it a night. The next morning, Maggie and Paul decide to take a raft down to the river that Paul and his daughter apparently made for show and tell.
Belongs ourselves. Not a single nail in her. It's all lashing.
Where's your daughter now?
Well, she didn't make it. This is actually the second raft. I had to make it by myself. Then, cut to this random camp counselor and a little girl having an ironic talk about how fish are friendly and don't eat feet. Definitely not. They never would do that.
Don't be scared. You just have to swim out to the marker and back.
Just have to swim out to the marker and back.
Why don't you fucking do it then, lady? It's fucking killer piranhas in the fucking river.
There's just a few little fish in here. They eat plants at the bottom of the river. They're not at all interested in little girls' fingers and toes.
This
Over
super
here, Miss
chiseled
Vera.
hunk comes over and yells at the little girl for being a little bitch because she's afraid to swim. How dare you?
People eat fish, Grogan. Fish don't eat people.
She's doing really well in handicrafts.
Handicrafts.
Handicrafts? Did you say handicrafts?
Handicrafts. We then catch up with the wonderful mustachioed man as he makes drunken dad jokes with his dog on a dock.
Sound like I ran over his head.
What's wrong, doggy? You sensed something?
Is it my impending doom?
Oh, Jesus! Not Mustache Man!
Meanwhile, Uncle Earl yells at Maggie for putting her fingers in the water.
The Army site. Stop that! Oh, he's speaking. Hey.
Keep your hand out of the water.
Earl reveals that his name is actually Dr. Robert Hoke. Dr. Hoke explains that Maggie drained the test site and released the mutant piranhas into the town's water. Oh no, big city piranhas in a small town river. Sounds like trouble.
The water is filled with carnivorous fish.
Then, by a stroke of luck, they find Puppers, who is barking at the mean fish who ate his drunk owner's feet.
Hey, fuck you, fish. I fucked your mother's gills.
Is he always so ferocious?
Maggie and Paul then find Mustache Man's body laying up by the dock. Whoa, I don't think a Manny and a Petty will fix that.
Dragged himself this far.
We return to the quaint summer camp where the little girl and the camp counselor throw darts at a picture of the angry dude from earlier.
Even in an inner tube, huh? Uh-huh.
They talk about girl stuff and why the little girl, Paul's daughter, is afraid to swim in the water.
They can still get you. They, huh?
The institutionalized government welfare state always gets you. Clever girl.
Thing snagged on the bottom. Got myself tangled in it, too.
I sense a nibble-induced death incoming.
It feels like something snagged in here.
They pay. They pay a lot better than they do in private research.
Dr. Exposition then explains the evil military was developing a secret mutant sex fish to kill river-dwelling people in Nam during the war.
Or raisin fish.
Raisin fish? That sounds delicious.
They called it Operation Razor Teeth.
Paul then sexually threatens the doctor because he remembers his mustached lover is dead.
I think if you open your mouth again, I'll stick this pole in it.
Suddenly, the doctor sees a kid he could hook on meth, so he jumps in the river to swim to him.
Do it!
Oh no, doctor, watch out! There's piranhas in the water. Oh no! The doctor dies, not from the piranha bites, but the many years of being a drug addict. I'm still a bit sad about losing the doctor, but the piranhas suddenly begin to eat away at Paul's father and daughter raft project. Oh no! Paul and Maggie slowly paddle to shore before the hungry wood-eating fish eat what's left of Paul's shitty raft. Out of breath, the three lifelong smokers celebrate their small victory for about 1.2 seconds until Paul runs off into the woods. Bye, Paul. See you later. Paul, really needing to pee, runs up to this guy to ask him where the bathroom is, but he remembers that the man-eating piranhas exist, and that this guy is about to open up the dam, thus releasing the piranhas further upstream.
Whatever you do, don't open it.
But out of nowhere, the military shows up and thinks they should test to see how fast the piranhas can eat some meat on a leg. Okay, sure.
Pour in, son.
Wow, that's pretty fast.
Up in the sky! It's Superman!
Ooh, boobies. Unfortunately for Paul, he drives 4 miles per hour over the speed limit and gets pulled over by a cop with a very shiny flashlight.
Pirahna, huh? And where did they come from?
From an army test site up on the mountain.
Aren't you Grogan?
Yeah, that's right.
Looking like he's about to cry at any moment. You okay, buddy? Everything all right at home?
Buddy, I got my gun in my other hand here.
Whoa, hey, buddy, put that thing away. That seems a bit unnecessary, okay? The very emotionally stable cop puts Maggie and Paul in a holding cell and lets the military know that they flashed a military guard and broke the alliance. There's no go. Skip to more relatable things. At the summer camp, where the very nice camp counselor ladies act somber and fight the urge to take off their clothes and swim together.
Ever since I got here, I haven't been able to just swim by myself. Come on, why don't you go with me? It'll do you some good. You know, you probably...
Oh, well, that didn't take long.
Grogan, turn off that flashlight.
Damn it!
Don't be alarmed, ladies.
Get out of here! We're about to see some camp counselor boobies. In the morning, Paul suddenly becomes a grouchy 60-year-old who is offended by loud noises.
What are you doing there?
Maggie finds a way to escape because one of her suspects was a plumber or something who flashed people, and somehow she learned how to kick pipes in holding cells. The guard wakes up and comes to check on the loud noise and is also confused. Maggie, being also 1/3 succubus, little did you know, lures the guard into the cell to check her pipe, if you know what I'm saying. Oh. She then hits him over the head with a bag of shit and takes off his pants, and Paul and Maggie then make a clean getaway. Unfortunately, it is already too late by the time they escape. The annual good thing there's no piranhas in the river swim-off has already begun. I assure you, men and women, there are definitely no piranhas in these waters. But Paul manages to save his daughter at the summer camp while the piranhas attack. Maggie then tries to warn the mayor to stop the annual swim-off, but he can't talk more than 10 seconds on his briefcase phone.
Listen to me! Look, please, before...
Thank you.
They charge you by the second on those things. Gotta hang up now, I'm bankrupt, bye. So the annual swim-off continues in town, where the tatas are swung without care in the water. Little do those tatas know what's about to ensue if they don't get out of the water soon. And it's not just hard nipples, it's piranhas. A diver gets a quick kiss, and some guy water skiing yells loudly at girls towing him with their boat. Also, this guy hits a boat and it explodes. Maybe you don't transport a highly explosive material on your small fishing boat next time, huh, pal? That is so fucking stupid. Soon the fun begins and legs get nibbled on by sex fish, and even this guy gets his salad tossed. No one is safe as panic sets in, and everyone on the beach are getting chewed to bits. Also, this guy throws someone back in the water. Nice guy. They literally showed the piranhas biting girls' nips here. I blurred it out, but I didn't think they would actually show it, but yep, they went for it. Paul and Maggie arrive on the scene and steal somebody's boat because they're rebels. They don't abide by your human laws. They then come up with a plan to stop the killer piranhas and save the once sacred annual swim-off.
Be enough waste left in the smelting tanks.
It'll kill the fish!
It'll kill anything.
Paul figures it's a good idea to tie a rope to himself and dive into the water to instill tension.
So I want you to start counting slowly, up to 100. Then whether I'm up to the surface or not, you hit that throttle and gun this sucker out of here.
5, 6.
Will Paul open up this door? Nope. Will Paul break this window underwater? Yes. Drama. Will Paul struggle to turn this valve? Yes. Very much so. But oh no! The piranhas have found him. Must turn rusty underwater valve in time. Paul, we only have 100 seconds because reasons, and you only have 10 seconds left. Oh, Paul made it and busted through that window underwater. Cool. Paul survives the onslaught of piranha bites and successfully opens the valve, thus poisoning the water supply for the entire town forever and sparking the first birth of the first X-Men. Yay, Paul! Good boy, you did it. But ow, you look gross. You look really gross. But at least everyone is safe now.
No way they can survive the salt water.
Wait, what?
There's nothing left to fear.
The piranhas are in the ocean now? Then what was the point of... Oh! Okay. Cool! Well, that was a look at the hit 1970s horror flick Pirahna. I hope you enjoyed this episode of DaniBuns, and if you did, subscribe and share with your friends. Those who really want to help fund the channel, visit the Patreon link in the description to help me afford ramen to feed myself, and also you get cool benefits like behind the scenes vids, your name in the description, and on the video itself, and more. Well, that's all, you folks. Bye-bye.